Welcome to Hebrewreaders Church, everybody. We hope everybody's been having a wonderful week. We're glad that we made it to the Sabbath day this week by the grace of Elohim. I'm your brother Zakwa. This is your brother Kathafo, and we're Hebrewreaders Church. If anybody is new, please feel free to to introduce yourself in the chat below. We'd love to get to know you. It's a great lesson we have today. We actually have two lessons lined up today, so we will be coming back on after this lesson. Just give us a moment to set up for the next lesson, so at least you can prepare to know that we're going to do two lessons today. This lesson is an update on the third temple from one of the previous lessons that we've done. If you haven't seen the first one, please go back and look at it and check it out so that you can be up to date on, and so the information makes sense for this lesson as well. Without further ado, Brother Costa, you got anything before we get going?
Yes, this lesson is going along with understanding what's coming in the end times for us to know what we're looking for. You can always email us for a PDF of the notes after the lesson for you to go back and make it easier. And we have updates on the website. We have a new book, The Odes of Solomon, that's available for download on the website. And you can also go on the tab under the Laws of Yache's Church, the places of Isaiah 11. We now have pictures of the allotments of the sons of Noah, so you can see the accurate places that they were given in their allotments for your edification and understanding. And just thank you all for your support. And we appreciate the feedback on the last lesson, the geography lesson, and hope things continue going well. Lord willing, the edification is good. And as you all may have noticed, I has prospered in the work. Zakwa's gotten the quality of this stuff very well. So I want to give a shout out and what do you call it again? A virtual round of applause for
A virtual round of
Zakwa.
applause. Thank you, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
give him a virtual round of applause for his work. For you all that didn't know, the illustration we had in the geography lesson, that was Zakwa's idea. The bad paint color, that was on my part. I apologize, but the idea was Zakwa. So thank Ahaya for everything. All right.
Praise the higher for it.
And this lesson, actually, Zakwa, this is the third temple lesson. I had
Oh,
took
you re-edited
the
it?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is I had to redo it because the last one. This one is simpler and straight to the point for clarity and ease of understanding.
Well, you still got to speak on it for the people who've seen the first one. So,
Yeah, good call out. Good call out. All right. With all that, let's jump into it. There is news on the third temple to come. And let's get into the scriptures for understanding. Can you read Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12 and 13, please?
sure. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Elohim. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
The mount of the congregation is Zion, where he plans to sit. Can you read Psalms 48 and 2, please?
Beautiful for situation. The joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, on the sides of the north, the city of the great king.
He will come to do these things in the form of the false prophet here in these end times. Can you read Daniel chapter 8, verse 23 and 24, please?
Sure. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power.
Because it's the devil working in him. Continue, please.
And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper in practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people.
When he comes, he will plant the tabernacle of his palace. I'm sorry, when he comes, he will plant his tabernacle of his own palace. Can you read Daniel 11 and 45, please?
And he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain.
The holy mountain is Zion, so he will plant the tabernacle of his plans there. I'm sorry, he will plant the tabernacle of his palace there, and there he will sit. Can you read Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4, please?
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worshipped, so that he as Elohim sitteth in the temple of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim.
As the devil said in Isaiah 14, he will sit in the mount of the congregation. So he will plant his tabernacle of his palace there in Zion and will sit there as if he was Elohim. There's one temple that shall come in these end times. He will impersonate the beloved. Can you read Ascension of Isaiah chapter 3, verse 6 to 9 and verse 13, please?
Hey, brother Kasafo, can you go over the word Elohim real quick, just in case we have any new people? Because I know we're throwing it out pretty a lot right now.
Okay. Elohim is the Hebrew word for the powers or the deity. You may hear it in Yiddish as Elohim, but the Hebrew that is still spoken and retained in the root words of the Hebrew people known as some of the Hebrew people known as the Bantu. The word is Alahayim. The word Allah means the power or the force and the force of the land. And Ha is plural. So Alaha is them. So it's the forces them. And Yim is the word for water. So it's Alahayim, the forces them that control the seas or the land and the seas is the word Alahayim. For understanding of it in Hebrew, we have the Bantu's Hebrew document on the website for edification on it. I think we have a lesson called the Alahayim or Understanding the Trinity, where we touched on it as well. You can find in the playlist Understanding the Names. So that's hopefully that helps. We do say the word an awful lot, Alahayim, all the
That's
time.
good.
We don't use the word God because according to Isaiah 65 and 11 is the name of a Babylonian deity. And it's against the law for us according to Exodus 23 and 12 or 23 and 13 to make mention of the name of other Elohims or let it be heard out of our mouth when speaking in reference to our power, our creator, the deity we believe in. So that's why we don't use that and we use the Hebrew word for clarity and making sure all things are done for the well-being of us all.
All right.
All
Thank
right,
you.
let's jump in here. You're welcome.
Ascension of Isaiah chapter 3, verse 6. And he will do everything he wishes in the world. He will act and speak like the beloved and will say, I am Lord, and before me there was no one. And all men in the world will believe him, and they will sacrifice to him and will serve him, saying, This is Lord, and beside him there is no other. And the majority of those who have associated together to receive the beloved, he will turn aside after him. And many faithful and saints, when they saw him for whom they were hoping, who was crucified, Yache, the Lord Christ. After that I, Isaiah, had seen him who was crucified and ascended, and who believed in him. Of these few would be left in those days as his servants, while they flee from desert to desert as they await his coming.
People of the Lord Yache won't believe in him and are awaiting another temple wherein believers may rest. The prophet Baruch, during the Babylonian siege, foretold of the temples to come for our comfort. Can you read 2nd Baruch chapter 32, verse 1 to 3, and then we're going to go to 5 and 6, and then back to 4 for those writing their notes down. Right?
Just so everybody knows, in the Ascension of Isaiah, I went from on chapter 3, I went from verse 6 to 9, and then I jumped to 13, just in case you're writing notes.
Thank you.
2nd Baruch chapter 32, verse 1. But as for you, if you prepare thy hearts, as to sow in them the fruits of the law, it shall protect you in the time in which the mighty one is to shake the whole creation. Because after a little time, the building of Zion will be shaken in order that it may be built again.
The building that was rebuilt was in the days of the Persians. Continue, please.
But that building will not remain, but will again, after a time, be rooted out.
It was rooted out by the Romans in 70 AD. Continue, please.
And will remain desolate until the time.
Now, what time is he referring to? Let's read verse 5 and 6, please.
All right. Therefore, we should not be distressed so much over the evil which is now come as over that which is still to be. For there will be a greater trial than these two tribulations when the Mighty One will renew his creation.
See, a greater trial than the Babylonian and Roman destruction of the people must come when he will renew his creation. That's the time he's referring to, and it shall be the great tribulation Yache spoke of in Matthew 24, verse 20 and 21. What else shall come? Verse 4, please.
And afterward, it must be renewed in glory and perfected forevermore.
So after the great trial, the building will be renewed in glory when he renews his creation. What else do the prophets say about the temple believers are looking for to come and his renewal of creation? Can you read Barnabas chapter 16, verse 6, please?
But let us inquire whether there be any temple of Elohim. There is, in the place where he himself undertakes to make and finish it. For it is written, and it shall come to pass, when the week is being accomplished, the temple of Elohim shall be built gloriously in the name of the Lord.
The true temple will be gloriously built in this week, which is 7 years. When the 7 years are being accomplished, let us know it will be towards the end of the 7 years. Now, where is this temple being built? Is it a physical location that we should be looking for? Let's see. Can you read Barnabas chapter 6, verse 13 to 15, please?
All right.
Yes.
Barnabas chapter 6, verse 13. Again I will show thee how the Lord speaketh concerning us. He made a second creation at the last, and the Lord saith, Behold, I make the last things as the first. In reference to this, then the prophet preached, Enter into a land flowing with milk and honey, and be masters over it. Behold, then, we have been created anew. As he saith again in another prophet, Behold, saith the Lord, I will take out from these, that is to say, from those whom the Spirit of the Lord foresaw, their stony hearts, and will put into them hearts of flesh. For he himself was to be manifested in the flesh, and to dwell in us.
The renewal will come when our stony hearts are removed through the great trial to come, purging us, that Christ may be formed in us. Continue to verse 15, please.
For the holy temple unto the Lord, my brethren, is the abode of our heart.
The place where the temple is being gloriously built is our hearts. Now let's see how it will be built in the name of the Lord. Barnabas, chapter 16, verse 7 to 10, and chapter 17, verse 1, please.
Barnabas chapter 16, verse 7. I find then that there is a temple. How then shall it be built in the name of the Lord? Understand ye, before we believed on Elohim, the abode of our heart was corrupt and weak, a temple truly built by hands. For it was full of idolatry, and was a house of demons, because we did whatsoever was contrary to Elohim. But it shall be built in the name of the Lord. Give heed then that the temple of the Lord may be built gloriously.
This is the glorious temple we are looking for. All right, verse 9.
How? Understand ye, by receiving the remission of our sins and hoping on the name, we became anew, created afresh from the beginning.
That's what comes with baptism and being born again. Continue, please.
Wherefore Elohim dwelleth truly in our habitation within us. How? The word of his faith, the calling of his promise, the wisdom of his ordinances, the commandment of the teaching, he himself prophesying in us, he himself dwelling in us, opening for us who have been in bondage unto death the door of the temple, which is the mouth, and giving us repentance, leadeth us to the incorruptible temple. For he that desireth to be saved looketh not to the man, but to him that dwelleth and speaketh in him, being amazed at this, that he has never at any time heard these words from the mouth of the speaker, nor himself ever desired to hear them. This is the spiritual temple built up to the Lord.
All right. Verse 10, can you read chapter 17 and 1, please?
So far as it was possible, with all simplicity to declare it unto you, my soul hopeth that I have not omitted anything of the matters pertaining unto salvation, and so failed in my desire.
I think that was pretty clear. Knowing what is to come, let us go unto perfection. Can you read 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1 to 5, please?
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Wherefore, laying aside all malice and all guile, and hypocrisies and envies, and all evil speakings, as newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may grow thereby. If so be ye have tasted that the Lord is gracious, to whom coming as unto a living stone disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of Elohim and precious. Ye also, as lively stones, are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Elohim by Yache Christ.
This is the house we are looking. This is the house we are working to be a part of through the Spirit, that we may be worthy to enter the city of holy Jerusalem, which shall be revealed from Elohim. Can you read Revelations chapter 21, verse 10 and verse 22 to 27, please?
Revelation chapter 21, verse 10. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from Elohim. Revelation chapter 21, verse 22. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord Elohim Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it.
See, there's no physical temple to look for as believers, because the true temple is being built in our hearts. And when New Jerusalem is revealed, Ahaya and Yache will be the temple of it. The false prophet will plant the tabernacle of his palace. But we know, at least now we know, as believers, we are not looking for a physical building in these end times. Can you continue verse 23 through 27, please?
Sure. Revelation 21, verse 23. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it. For the glory of Elohim did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it.
All nations saved will walk in the light of Elohim there. It won't just be the Hebrews, for we are all the children of Abraham by faith. Continue, please.
Revelation chapter 21, verse 25. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life.
We only have to be written in the book of life to enter into it. So let us be mindful not to defile ourselves or work abomination or work lies or make lies. We may be found worthy. So hopefully this helps understand the third temple that we're looking for is in our hearts, and the building that we seek to get to enter into, Our Father, Ahaya, and the everlasting Father, Yache, are the temple of it. But the physical building, or the physical tabernacle, I should say, the tabernacle of a palace that shall come is going to be from the wicked one, whom all the world will believe in. So, hope that helps with clarity of what's to come and understanding what we're looking for.
All right. If anybody has any questions, please write them down in the chat. Shout out to Challen Brother Chinedu. Shout out to
Hey,
Challen Brother Johnny Mendez. Shout out to Challen Brother Hanu. Um, I don't want to mess your name. Aeolian Harp. Shout out to Challen from England. Nice
what's
to
up?
meet you. We hope to see you. If you can, please send us an email at Hebrewreaders at gmail.com. We'd love to actually introduce ourselves to you. King of Progression, shout out to Chalem. We hope you all, we appreciate the love and support too, brother. I keep you. Baba Kuya, shout out to Chalem. Hope you're doing well. All right. You got anything else, Brother Casafo, before we try to get ready for this next lesson? I'm thinking we can get back on maybe around 10 if you're on Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully we can get back on around 10:30. That gives us a little time to get everything together. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and do
Uh,
that. Let's go ahead. You got anything else before we get off?
we can roll.
Okay, all right, yeah, everybody. We'll be back on at 10:30 for the next lesson. So just give it a moment so that we can set up real quick, and we hope to see you guys to join us. All right, Shout out to Talent family.